Hello and welcome to Early Bird by Amerisleep. I'm Dr. Devon Hoffman, and today we're going over how to sleep during a heat wave. We've done the research so you don't have to. As many of you guys know, sleeping during intense heat is probably one of the most uncomfortable things you can do. It's hot, you end up getting sweaty, and you also end up getting poor sleep. And science is showing that if you're not within the ideal temperature range, this can really drastically affect your sleep. So here are a few tips to help you out. Now, one of the main reasons that we always produce heat during the night is that our bodies do a lot of metabolism, which is basically the breakdown of certain things, and the byproduct of all of this ends up being heat, which is why you end up waking up warm. Now, because of all this heat, our bodies naturally prefer colder temperatures during the night. Between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit is usually an ideal sleeping range, and if you're above this, you might have heat adding to what your body is also producing, causing some overheating during the night. Furthermore, we all know that REM sleep or REM sleep is extremely important in getting a good night's sleep, and it helps you feel more rested and have more energy the next day. But the recent studies are showing that the higher temperature that you're sleeping in actually tends to have a counteractive effect on your REM sleep, decreasing the amount of time that you're in that state and lowering your sleep quality. Now, diving into the factors that this hot temperature can have on our sleep quality, the first one being dehydration. Now, we know dehydration, everybody walks around half dehydrated anyway. Now, if you're not hydrated going into your sleep or throughout the night, this can basically mean that you don't have a good cooling source and you don't have the liquids in your body to cool off, and is a great way to overheat and basically ruin your sleep quality as well. And if you're in intense heat for long enough, this can foster into what's known as heat exhaustion, which is basically above level of overheating in your body. This can cause excessive sweating, headache, fatigue, nausea, a whole bunch of problems that happen basically when your body is overheated. And this is a thing we're trying to avoid when we're trying to sleep in a cool environment as well. And then once you're around above 40 degrees Celsius, then you're in the heat stroke level, which is basically one step above heat exhaustion. And this is a great time to seek medical attention if you have something like this. And one other one, cardiovascular strain is also a problem that when you do get overheated, your body has to work extra hard in cooling itself, meaning higher blood pressure, higher heart rate, basically everything's on overdrive trying to keep your body cool. And lastly, you're going to be breathing a lot more, trying to expel this hot air, and it can also affect your mood and cognitive system, delaying both of those and causing some issues. So overall, lots of bad things and things we should try to avoid. Now we're going to go into some specific strategies to avoid overheating during a heat wave. The first one is going to be optimizing the airflow that you have available to you. So this means basically trying to get all of the hot air out and all of the cool air in as much as you can. You're going to be opening up windows, try to get two sources of airflow, one in, one out if possible, as well as a directional fan to kind of push the direction of air through the room. Now, number two is pretty simple, but it's blocking out sunlight throughout the day. Now, if you leave your window open, this can basically let a ton of sun through the window the entire day, heating up the room on the inside. Now, blocking this out with a blackout curtain or just a simple curtain can be a great way to lower the temperature in the room. The next one, sleeping arrangements can be crucial in helping to keep the area cool. So using cooling technology in pillows and mattresses, some of the ones from Amerisleep do have these included, and these are great ways to keep an area cool while you sleep. The next trick is going to be a cold shower before bed, which can drastically lower body temperature prior to sleep and help you get and stay asleep much longer while staying cool for those first few hours of sleep. The next one is to look at what you're wearing to bed. Now, wearing very breathable, light, and single layer clothing can be a great way to lower the body temperature, and making sure that the areas that your body expels heat is open and free to the air is a great way to lower the body temperature as well. And the last one today is going to be exercise. Now, this kind of seems counterintuitive, but exercising frequently does help our thermoregulation throughout the body and can basically help us to quickly cool off the body if you are overheating, versus someone who doesn't exercise can do this quite a bit less efficiently because they haven't trained it as such. Now, let's go into some frequently asked questions from you guys. The first one today is, how do you cool down a room as soon as possible? So to do this as quick as possible, the three strategies I would say are putting a cold damp towel on the forehead or other areas of the body, the circulation of air in the room, so looking and making sure that you have those strategies that we talked about earlier, and lastly, turning off unnecessary electronics that could potentially be creating heat, such as a computer, a TV, anything else that could kind of create heat or create light is a great way to reduce the heat of the room quickly. Now, some of the drastic methods that we were kind of looking into are putting sheets as well as bedding into the freezer or into a cooler during the day and then putting them on right before you go to bed. Now, if we're talking like extremely heat wave and you can't sleep at all, this is a great strategy in order to lower your body temperature before you go to sleep. The next one asking about extreme heat, and that's when we would go back to kind of these drastic methods that we talked about earlier, as well as implementing every single one of the strategies and culminating them all together into a lower body temperature throughout the night. Now the next question is, why do we not sleep as good when we're overheated during the night? And this is a great question, and it kind of goes back into the metabolism talk that we talked about earlier. Basically, when we're sleeping, we do a lot of metabolism and it increases our core body temperature. We need to be able to cool this off, and if we can't, then we're going to have an increase of our ventilation, our heart rate, and our blood pressure. And all of these increasing basically counteracts the sleeping, where we want to decrease all of these for a restful night's sleep, and it leads to a poor sleep quality overall. Now the final question today is going to be, where do we sleep when it does get too hot? And overall, you want to sleep on a low surface. Basically, because we know heat rises, we want to sleep either on the floor or in a lower part of the house. For instance, a basement usually is about 5 to 10 degrees cooler. This is a great option, as well as sleeping in a place with good airflow can be crucial. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Early Bird by Amerisleep. If you did find this information helpful today, be sure to visit our blog for more helpful expert opinions and information on how to get the best sleep of your life. Until next time, sleep well and take care.